Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at this time on the heels of the ratification of the Constitution by the Constituent Assembly, a political process that has struggled to usher in what is hoped by many to be a new era in Nepal. Indeed, this is potentially a new time in Nepal, a new time for Dalits, for academics in Nepal, a new era. I hope it is not too bold for me to suggest that the Dignity Initiative represents a Naya Yuga for Nepal, a yuga full of potential, of a modern era of social enlightenment that embraces the worth of every human being, a Dalit era in which every Dalit is free to move in society as she pleases, an enlightened era in which respect is freely offered by all to all. We do not have a society in Nepal that currently treats Dalits equally, offers Dalits access to the same privileges as the elite, or even treats Dalits consistently with dignity. But this is the goal, the objective we all seek to achieve. Such a bold time, such a Naya Yuga, deserves its own calendar, one that refuses to privilege the wrongdoings of the past and which lacks the milestones that we use to mark progress in this new future. Again, with some boldness, I suggest that we set aside for the moment the Bikram Sambat in favor of a new Sambat, a calendar of this Naya Yuga that suggests the measurable of dignity and respect that we wish to come from the Dignity Initiative. Let us say that today, then, is day one of year one of this Naya Yuga, with something momentous. In this case, the momentous thing is the creation of the Dignity Initiative, started by you, by young scholars, as a social movement, an andalan of the most positive kind. Your creation, your social movement, your momentous thing. What seems to make this so different to me is the shift in orientation from one that once sought escape from a denigrated past to one that seeks admittance to a future pregnant with potential. We all know the trials and tribulations of the life of the Dalit, either directly or indirectly, as is the case for me, even though some people might still try to deny that truth. I am as guilty as anyone for dwelling on the negatives of the Dalit experience. Much of my research has been to attempt to point out those negatives. But what we are now prepared to tell the world, and what the world seems to want to hear, is how we will move beyond that dark, swampy terrain and help to construct a new one in which everyone, including Dalits, can reach their fullest potential. It will take time. It will take work, commitment, energy, motivation, thought, planning. It won't be easy, but it will be doable by undertaking, as Drona Rasili has so eloquently pointed out, a journey of small strides through novel ideas for social justice. Dalits, by virtue of their marginalization, embedded in the relations of production, had personal identities that were enmeshed in their caste identities. They were one and the same. Back then, there were Sarkis, not Nepalis, nor Bisunkes. There were Kamis, not Biswakarmas or Bikas. There were Damais, not Partiyars or Dasis. These naming conventions echoed a lifestyle that demanded of them servitude and silence, acquiescence, not resistance. Dalits referred to people of high caste as Hajur and were referred to in turn as Timi. They were spoken to, not listened to, ordered to do and forced to beg in return. Their inferior social position in the agricultural relations of production were ever present, marked on their bodies, in their dress, in their behavior, and in their minds. So powerful were these symbols that they persist today, despite the many efforts to erase or to overlook them. I see it in more ways with increasing frequency and volume. It is something we as scholars need to encourage and to document in all its subtlety. You as Dalit scholars and as supporters of Dalit scholarship should encourage it in yourselves and the people you represent through your words and pictures. These notions of dignity need careful investigation, I believe, for a movement to be based upon dignity. In order to advocate for a society of dignity through a dignity initiative, there are so many things that the new Dalit scholar needs to do. And I would like to point out that each of these principles reflects on all parts of the academic endeavor, especially as it relates to the public. These are not exhaustive of all the themes that should be attended to. They're simply a start. The first one is shine a bright light on caste. The first step to dignifying Dalits as people and their causes as ones that matter is to consistently, with firmness and clarity, address Dalit issues directly and without apology. The unique contribution of Dalit conditions to understanding of the larger social phenomena that transcend issues of caste should be highlighted. So what do we not learn when we do not include Dalit people? And when we do include Dalit people, what new lessons, what new understanding do we achieve? I advocate that you make your work about big academic issues and demonstrate that only by including a Dalit perspective can you offer a complete theory on these social issues. Demonstrate academic integrity, how your writing reflects your living, and your living reflects your writing. We all want to advocate for Dalit rights, but by adhering to a cherished principle, one so fundamental that we cannot but follow it, and that principle is social equality. If we write that we advocate social equality, then I believe we must live it. I personally have little respect for the writings of a Dalit whom I come to perceive as not adhering to this theorem of social equality. If a Dalit believes that caste intermarriage should be free and uninhibited, then he should be thrilled to have his son or daughter marry a Dalit of lower social standing than his own. If he believes that a Brahmin should accept food from a Dhamai, then if he is Vishwakarma, he should be willing to accept food from a Gandharva. And I admire the mission you have decided to undertake. I think it comes at an auspicious time, a time when Nepal seems ready to move forward, recognizing the dignity in all of us and to help usher in this new era, this Naya Yuga, based on principles of mutual respect, and above all, for you to be the embodiment. And now it is time to roll up your sleeves and make it happen.